is an enemy seeking to devour. What you gonna do when he comes for you? Oh, this ain't no cakewalk. There is work for us to do. The enemy's after you, me, our families too. They want us to lay down and die, give up the fight, but no, not I, no, not I. It's time to rise, put on the armor of God. Make sure your feet, they are shod. Build your belief in the word, follow his lead. Please walk away from sin so you can enter in the Holy of Holies and then prepare to defend. It's time to pray, it's time for war, it's time to fight. Pick up your sword, this is war, and it is spiritual. It's time to pray, it's time for war, it's time to fight. Pick up your sword, this is war, and it is spiritual.
Father Spirit is calling all those that are his back home. Faith is a key component in that homecoming process. It is no light matter, as faith is one of the critical fruits of Father Spirit that's needed to make it into his kingdom. Let's dive into Father's Word. I've chosen to do my first vid, a topic of faith, because after all, this is Faith Unapologetic, and as this video will reveal, without faith, it is not possible for one to please our beloved Creator. So, what is faith? We've heard all the expressions and jargon such as just have faith and you need to increase your faith. Some even quote Hebrews 11:1. Now, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Yet, what does it truly mean to have faith? To discover what faith is in order to correctly apply it, we must go back to the Hebrew meaning of the word. Why is the English translation not good enough? Solely because most of the time, true scripture meaning is lost in English translation. As English is a passive language, but Hebrew is an active language. The English translation, it also tends to use the same word even when the Hebrew meaning and or part of speech are different, paving the way for much confusion. Let me explain further. One Hebrew word for faith is emunah. This word is a noun and means steadfastness, firmness, support, or trust, as referenced in the following examples. This is 1 Samuel 26:23. Yahweh, render to every man his righteousness and his faithfulness, emunah. Here in 1 Samuel 26, King David spoke of the Creator's steadfastness in delivering Saul into his hand. David was not speaking of a passive feeling rendered via the English translation, but instead a reference to the profound dedication and commitment the Creator showed in delivering Saul into his hand. Let's have a look at another example. And Moshe said unto Yeshua, choose us out men and go out, fight with Amalek. Tomorrow I will stand on the top of the hill with the rod of Elohim in my hand. So Yeshua did as Moshe had said to him and fought with Amalek. And Moshe, Aaron, and Hur went up to the top of the hill. And it came to pass, when Moshe held up his hand, that Yasharal prevailed. And when he let down his hand, Amalek prevailed. But Moshe's hands were heavy, and they took a stone and put it under him, and he sat thereon. And Aaron and Hur stayed up his hands, the one on one side and the other on the other side. And his hands were steady. They were emunah unto the going down of the sun. That's in Exodus 17:9-12. In verse 12, as just read, the English translation actually got it right. With the help of others, Moshe held the rod of Yah up all day in steadfastness, emunah, aka faith, because he knew the Creator would deliver on his promise and allow them to prevail over the Amalekites. Let's keep digging. Another Hebrew word for faith is aman. Aman is a verb which infers action. This word means to trust, as referenced here in Daniel 6:4. Then the presidents and princes sought to find occasion against Daniel concerning the kingdom, but they could find none occasion nor fault, for as much as he was aman, faithful, neither was there any error or fault found in him. Daniel was faithful in the Hebrew sense via his actions. Although he was in captivity, Daniel's belief in Yah made him faithful to Yah in all he did, despite any consequences for doing so. I must clarify here that most tend to obscure the terms faith and belief. Let's never confuse faith with belief, as they are two distinct words that in English are sometimes incorrectly used interchangeably. However, the two words do work hand in hand. The Hebrew word for belief is aman. Notice it is spelled the same way as one of the words for faith, yet the two words are pronounced differently. The verb for faith is pronounced aman, whereas belief, also a verb meaning to confirm, to support, build up, is pronounced aman. When read in modern Hebrew, these two verbs, faith and belief, are distinguished by their vowel points. However, in ancient Hebrew, no vowel points were needed, as those indigenous to the language pronounced the words via their context, such as we do via the English words read, which is present tense, and read, past tense, or perfect, to be perfect, and perfect, to perfect something or bring to a completion as best as possible. So let's recap all that we have gone over in reference to both faith and belief. Emunah, faith, is action, not passive. Another word for faith in Hebrew is a verb pronounced amen and means to trust, as in the English term faithful. A word commonly misused for faith via the English translation is belief. However, the true meaning of belief, which is also a verb, is to confirm, to support. In the Hebrew, this word looks the same as the Hebrew word amen, but is pronounced aman. In the modern Hebrew, the word for faith and the word for belief, both which are verbs, is spelled the same, but is distinguished by their vowel points. The easiest way to shed light on the proper use of these words is to use them in a sentence. All right, here goes. Due to our emunah in Yah, we are aman to him in all that we set our hands to do. Therefore, we strongly aman, believe that he is a strong tower to all those who call upon him. Another example is this. I am a nail in my father's house. The nail that I am is emunah, faith. How is the nail that I am emunah? Specifically because I am firmly fixed, I'm steadfast in Yah's house. In addition, my belief, aman, affects my actions. How so? Everything I do will be to support the nail and keep it firmly fixed in support of Father's house. Our belief should drive our action of faith. Because we believe, we should be faithful to the Most High. What does faith in action look like? Firstly, the majority of the people of Yasharal, nor our Messiah Yeshua, spoke Greek, although he could have if he wanted to. And I'm speaking of the time that Yeshua walked the earth in flesh. The language of the nation during that time frame was Aramaic and Hebrew. Therefore, we must always look at scripture through its original lens, or we will go wrong and fall short of its true meaning. Keeping that in mind, we will reflect on Hebrews 11:3-13 to glimpse faith in action. Through faith, emunah, we understand that the worlds were framed by the word of Elohim, so that things which are seen were not made of things which do appear. By faith, Abel offered unto Elohim a more excellent offering than Cain, by which he obtained witness that he was righteous, Elohim testifying of his gifts, and by it he, being dead, yet speaks. By faith, Enoch was translated that he should not see death, and was not found, because Elohim had translated him. For before his translation, he had this testimony that he pleased Elohim. But without emunah, faith, it is not possible to please him. For he that comes to Elohim must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him. By faith, Noah, being warned of Elohim of things not seen as yet, moved with fear, prepared an ark to the saving of his house, by the which he condemned the world, and became heir of the righteousness which is by faith. By faith, Abraham, when he was called to go out into a place which he should after receive for an inheritance, obeyed, and he went out not knowing where he went. By faith, he sojourned in the land of promise, as in a strange country, dwelling in tabernacles with Isaac and Jacob, the heirs with him of the same promise. For he looked for a city which has foundations, whose builder and maker is Elohim. Through faith, also, Sarah herself received strength to conceive seed and was delivered of a child when she was past age, because she judged him faithful who had promised. Therefore sprang there even of one, and him as good as dead, so many as the stars of the sky in multitude, and as the sand which is by the seashore innumerable. These all died in emunah, faith, not having received the promises, but having seen them afar off, and were persuaded of them, and embraced them, and confessed that they were strangers and pilgrims on the earth. The emunah, the faith of Abel, Enoch, Noah, Abraham, Sarah, and many of the others were all steadfast, firmly fixed in support of Yah, and they showed it by their obedience because they first aman, they trusted him. Yet, as I stated before, both faith and belief work hand in hand. So now let's go back and take a look at verse 6. But without emunah, faith, it is impossible to please him. For he that comes to Elohim must believe, aman, confirm, support that he is, and that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him. So we see that it is impossible to have emunah without first having aman, belief, which means to confirm, to support that Yah exists, and that he is a rewarder of those who truly seek him. We cannot just say we have faith and that we believe, and then we sit motionless, waiting for results to just fall out of the sky. No, our emunah, our steadfastness, our faith, and our aman, our belief in the Most High, should move us to action, showing that we, aman, trust Father Yah, which is what Apostle Yaakov meant when he stated, even so, emunah, faith, if it has not works, is dead, being alone. This means that we must not just have lip service in reference to our belief and our faith. We must actually read our Creator's word, and then we must act on it. In other words, we must earnestly live out Father's words with pure hearts. So when someone talks about putting on the whole armor of Yah, as referenced by Brother Shaul Paul in the book of Ephesians chapter 6, which includes the girdle of truth, the breastplate of righteousness, the shoes of the Besorah, the helmet of salvation, the sword of the Ruach, which is the word of Yah, and above all, the shield of faith. As scripture reveals, if you have all of this other armor, but you lack faith, you are wasting your time. Because without faith, steadfastness, without firmness, without support, without trust in the face of adversity, you will turn tail and run or just give up. Which means the word of the Most High will be ripped from your mind and replaced with the thoughts and cares of this world. You will hit default and turn back to the ways of the old man or woman because you have no shield to evade the darts of wickedness. That is why one who lacks faith cannot please the Father. Faith is one of the 9 fruit of Yah's set apart Ruach, which means if one lacks the shield of faith, one does not have Father's Ruach. She is just perpetrating a fraud. People like this say they are obedient believers and doers of the word, but truly they are only so when it's convenient for them or when they are not being opposed or tested by those of this world. These are those King Yeshua will say to, I never knew you. Depart from me, you who work lawlessness, which is iniquity and wickedness. Now, if someone asks you if you actually have faith, you can say, I sure do. Despite my trials and the ridicule of others, I stand steadfast, emunah, in this set-apart walk, and my actions support my belief in our great Creator. Then counter them with these questions. What does faith mean and look like to you? Do you truly have faith? In the next vid, we will pick up with a detailed study on the concept of the word of Yah itself. It is essential that we do so, as faith comes by hearing and hearing by the word of Elohim. I hope you now have a much better understanding of what faith truly is, and that action, not passivity, is required of all those who claim they have faith. If we don't even know the real meaning of faith, we could very well be walking this walk in vain. Thanks for watching. If this has been eye-opening and helpful to you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and please share. As we are living in an age where truth is rare and lies and wickedness is rampant, I'll continue to create content and upload as our Father allows. If available, you can refer to the Faith Unapologetic website located in the description box for a written version of this video. Also check out I Be Reppin' Ahava Yah, Yah's Love for great faith merch, and the nonprofit Barakah Infinity. Both links can be found in the description box. Our merch is just one way we spread truth and help the nonprofit foundation. Until next time, much Ahava Yah to all you fabulous seekers of truth who stand firm in faith unapologetic. And remember, stay girded up because this is war.